I want to let a few
Hello,
more
guys.
folks in. Hey, how are you, Enrique?
I am doing amazing. How about yourselves?
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. That's right, Rich. Knock it off.
Enrique, why are you going to write a boom?
Am I? No, I have to skip. It's on the 21st, I believe. It's my dad's birthday.
Bring him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I told him. He wanted to go to Vegas, but he said at 84 that he'd rather stay home and we go visit him in Nuevo Laredo, Mexico. So
Excellent. Excellent. Excellent.
is it
All
on a
right. Well,
weekend, right? A boom?
no, it's I think Monday through Thursday or something.
Oh, so it ends on the, wait a minute. So is my calendar all messed up?
Anthony, are you going to come visit?
Sadly, my new role with the Big K, we don't go to such. Pat will be there, so there'll be plenty of re-rolling jokes. But no, Ben and I we were a little disappointed about that. I understand that's how the corporation works, so that it is what it is.
PJ Sully will be there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it. He's enough for anybody, really. Um, um, Good morning, everyone. This may be kind of a nice and quiet call because, I just here for color commentary. The gentleman with the content has sadly been allowed to take some time off, so Ben is away. If I can help, of course, I'm happy to, or I'll make up an answer on the spot, which is what I usually do. So let's start with that. Does anybody have any technical questions, anything that has come up since the last time we spoke? Anything you see or are interested in hearing about?
Did you see on last Thursday's call? Did you hear the issue we had 20 minutes before the call?
Oh, yeah, I saw some of that with, was it, I didn't remember the name, Lithuania or something.
Yep.
Yeah, where did that fall out?
So it turns out apparently they're redesigning or creating a respond rule for it because there was no respond. Thank God Rocket Cyber picked it up and called. So talking to Chip, emailing back and forth, he mentioned Amanda was going to work on a new respond rule because apparently they were proxying. So we had Lithuania and then we had Los Angeles. So apparently the IP addresses in 95% of the databases were showing USA. So apparently we needed some type of rule that says, okay, even if it says USA, but we have X amount of missed logins and then a successful one, go ahead and kill it, something like that. But I just heard back from DefenseX, which we use a plugin browser. We have the customer on the basic version, classic DNS. So before I try to upsell them and blow smoke, I asked DefenseX, hey, could we have picked this up so we can do an upsell? They just got back to me this morning and said their response was exactly, hi, Enrique, engineers analyzed all the attack flow. It is a very complicated zero-day attack. None of the domain hash checking methodologies can detect an attack like this, including ours. Our new image processing system can detect it and release continues on that one. We will create a paper which will explain technical details of the attack. But apparently that's, there's some type of proxy involved.
It's an interesting one. That's somebody was gunning for you, buddy. I'm sorry, I don't know who you ticked off, but your
Is that
Well,
a
clients.
is that a local HTML file or
no, no, no.
something
So the
else?
user got on our customer who were involved in a social engineering hack. Their customer got hacked a couple of months ago, and they registered a domain very similar to my customers, and they're the vendor, and they transact in millions of dollars. So they created a letter from Chase Bank and stuff. Like if the accountant that got hacked last week that sent the letter with new bank account information, their customer, which is an investment firm that invests in building warehouses, responded, perfect. We got the new account. When they submitted an invoice, the language was not there. And this young kid detect the first email, he thought it was perfect, kosher, nice and good. But the second email, when they sent the invoice, he's like, wait a minute, the language here does not seem like the lady that
They were
Says the invoice.
communicating with something else. Yeah.
Correct. So he called
Mm.
her right via phone and she's like, what's going on? No, of course not. So she thought she had been hacked. Poor lady. She reached out to me back then. I go, no, it's not you. So we got a new customer. But then this time they breached her account and she got a letter, the famous OneDrive SharePoint letter from her accountant. But the way they built trust was they first emailed her and said, please review the IRS letter, whatever the letter was about. And she responded, there's no attachment. They're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Here's the attachment. And they added the OneDrive SharePoint link. She authenticated with the one-time password from Microsoft. She gets to the document, whatever it was, and she clicks on the link. She gets Microsoft credential request. She enters her credentials, MFA,
So they're
everything.
corresponding. Sorry to jump in. They're corresponding with like a whole separate domain.
They were in the customer's domain. In the
Okay. So there was a
I'm sorry,
compromise.
in
Yeah.
the account. Yeah, there was a compromise on their end.
Yeah. Okay.
So when she gets hard authentication, she's like, well, what the hell type of file are they sharing that it requires so much authentication? So she calls the accountants up and says, hey, I just got a file, but not sure what's going on because I can't see it. And it asked me like 3 times to authenticate because she missed the window for the first one-time password from Microsoft. So she had to request it a second time. And they're like, no, don't open it. We got hacked, this, that, and the other. So she immediately messaged me. She messaged me that there was an issue that she thought she had been hacked, like probably 3 minutes after Rocket Cyber called, and we disabled the account. So she was pretty on top of it. Like I told her, congratulations, because you did more. Yeah, you slipped, but you got back up. You called them, you asked, you realized there was an issue. So yeah, it apparently the second or one email without the attachment, maybe like to build trust, and then the second email with the attachment. And this is their accounting firm who they interact on a weekly basis, I guess, monthly basis. So yeah, but apparently the way it showed up, even though it was from Lithuania, it was doing some type of proxy or something. Microsoft, like SaaS Alerts, tagged it as risky behavior from Microsoft and obviously alerted on the risky behavior, but no respond rule based on that. So yeah, apparently it's an interesting one.
That is. But congrats to you. I mean, have you been doing security training with this? Is that as part of your standard package to make them
It,
aware of this?
it's not part of our standard package with We're a la carte. We have been on them since the previous breach where they registered a domain very similar to theirs. Remember a year and a half ago, we had an issue with another customer that got breached. They did not want to respond back then. They got a ticket. They didn't pay attention to them. They registered a very similar domain. A year later, they got money taken away from them because someone fell for it with that second domain. So we got on this customer immediately after the one a couple of months back, and we're like, look, I'm sorry to tell you, even though this did not start with you, they're not going to let you go until they get you. They got your domain. They know who the main lady is in finance. I go, this is not going to stop. So let's start training. Man, nothing yet. Hopefully this time around it is. But what gets me is the owner of this company. I guess he trusts us so much that, I mean, we generated a really nice report, but he hasn't even, I just let him know immediately via WhatsApp messaging, hey, the lady got compromised. And he just put a whole bunch of weird faces like, ouch, ooh, ah, bad. And that was it. And I'm like, about a phone call. This is the lady that handles the money. You build $50 million warehouses, $100 million warehouses. So your vendors and your transactions are all in the $1 million or millions of dollars. I'm like, I guess they trust us so much that.
It's interesting. Well, thanks for that debrief, and I look forward to see what Amanda and Chip come up with.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that is one of the nice things about kind of where we sit is merging threats because we've got our fingers on so many pulses, are getting easier to spot. And I don't know exactly what they're doing because the dev guys are always teasing about that. But the predictive analysis software that they're starting to use and the AIs that they're trying to run back against old models are starting to show some results. So I'm hopeful that sometime this year we'd actually have something in place that we can speak to on that. Enrique, thanks so much for sharing about that.
No, our
Yeah, if
pleasure.
Anybody
you
We learn
else?
haven't,
every day.
if you haven't set any up, get some risk-based respond rules. Those can really help catch a lot of stuff if you don't have like everything running with conditional access or it's not licensed.
Well, we do have
Uh,
conditional access. They have P2. We got risky behavior alerts. We're on managed SaaS alerts. So we've been running Respond since day one. Even when my Respond rules were all broken and messed up, we've been running Respond. So now on managed SaaS alerts, they're obviously tweaked and audited and all this stuff. But apparently, this was a new one.
Yep. Yeah,
That the
depending on how
current
that comes
Respond
through.
rules. Yeah.
Sometimes it triggers a risk level that we can act on, but yeah, depending
It,
on how it comes off. Yeah.
it did. Unfortunately for us, risky behavior most of the time means one MSP in our admin accounts or whenever we JIT. So one risky behavior from P2 is really for us more false positives. I think this is the only real positive that we got Thursday. Besides that, we get continuous false positives left and right. We're continuing to have to unblock or remove the risk from the user to be able to log in. So yeah, risky behavior has not been too promising for us
See, that's
from the
funny you mention
Microsoft.
that. I don't like personally. I'm not happy with how Microsoft's AI is delivering risky behavior alerts, and yet Ben loves them, and I got to trust that boy. So to answer your question, Tina, you don't get details on risky behavior um, if you don't have a P2. Microsoft, if you have a Office Basic or even a P1, Microsoft says, "Hey, risky behavior happened." They give you no details. If you have P2, they enrich that alert to tell you what was the triggering offense. But the reason why I find a little heartburn with that is you can have two people in the same office coming out of the same IP, working on the same spreadsheet. One person will get flagged for risky behavior, the other person won't. I I don't have enough understanding of Microsoft's AI on how they keep flagging this stuff or not flagging it to be able to put a ton of faith in it. But again, guys like Ben love it. They think it's accurate. So
Sorry, Anthony, just going to respond to Rich really quick that I saw in the chat. Uh, he mentioned there was currently no respond rule for this type of behavior, but they were definitely going to create one. This was yesterday. It's apparently the the risky behavior alert was in SaaS alerts, but we cannot respond on that. We'll be blocking left and right. So they had to add a couple of layers to where it's risky behavior, failed attempts, successful login. I don't remember all the criteria he told me, but they will be creating something that should detect something like this.
hopefully by Thursday's call, we'll have some more some updates on that. You guys find it's hard to justify the cost of P2 to your clients? I see Tina's mentioned in the chat that
Yes.
they had some good telemetry, but yeah, how do you show the value of that?
Very hard, especially when your customers are not focused on not even security awareness training. So I mean, you can see their
Um,
mind is not there.
yeah, that's the only place where it's like um, one of the Fortify reports has a little bit of a pie chart to hopefully show the value. Um,
I personally
but yeah,
prefer they spend money on security awareness training than on P2.
We're working our way there, but we're business premium. We're creeping our way there, I want to say, but you can only creep so quickly with the huge price jumps for those products. So all of our clients are on business premium right now, and anybody that's on a basic or exchange online license for accounts that don't need the full license, we just have the P1 and ID P1 add-on and the Defender for Office 365 Plan 1 add-on right now. So it depends on what you're using for security awareness training and that additional phishing as well for that Defender for Office 365, because the P2 on that one includes the security awareness training and stuff through Microsoft. So we're creeping, but we're third party for a lot of stuff right now. That P2, I loved it. I really liked the data that was coming in, and I loved the way that SaaS Alerts and Rocket handled it. But yeah, we did it on trial for a bit, and it's a pretty big price jump for larger clients that need a lot of licenses. So we're P1 for license compliance right now, and that's our level.
Working it. Yeah, keep working at it. Well, that's good to hear. You know where you want to be, and now we just have to talk the people into bloody well getting there. Stephen, thanks for putting that stuff in chat. That's I like that. I'll take that for a test drive. Um, I
Yeah,
had
sometimes if they go all the way to high risk, then we can usually do something there. But yeah, the medium risk sometimes can be a false positive. I like
Here was
those
a low
for
risk.
I like those for ticketing if they're low risk. Yeah, I mean that's a whole nother thing. So
Yeah, it was a low risk.
it was, yeah,
In SaaS Alerts, it was showing as a low risk.
risky activity.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. It's funny you were talking about security awareness training. I had a partner who's trying to write a respond rule to let him know anytime anybody deleted a no before email without reading it, because he had a bunch of people that were just ignoring it and trash canning it, and they weren't following through on what they were supposed to do. And so we were trying to write a respond rule around that. I thought that was kind of funny. Anybody else got anything, either success stories or horror stories or anything else that has come up recently? As I said, without Ben around, don't have a whole lot of content. I'm not the content guy. Well, if there's nothing else burning in your brains, I don't know of anything new coming down the pipe that Jim hasn't already telegraphed. There's nothing happy, new, crazy at Kaseya or within our little SaaS Alerts department, but look for some things that are coming, absolutely coming very soon. I think there's an event in April that is going to have some announcements and such. So watch this space, as they say. Folks, I appreciate you jumping in here, and thanks for all the color commentary. And we'll do this again in 2 weeks. Other than that, everybody have a fantastic day.
All right, thank you.
And you guys
Bye.
stay safe.
Nice.